making of independent India's constitution. So today we are going to discuss about the making of independent India's constitution. Firstly, let us know what is the meaning of constitution. Constitution is a book which has a set of rules and regulation. To function the government or to function the country, we need some rules and regulation. That rules and regulations will be written in one book. That book is nothing but constitution. So every country will be having one constitution. Even our country also have constitution. So how this constitution was made? So when our constitution was made? So these all things we are going to discuss in this lesson. So before entering into the topic, we have two countries' constitutions in this lesson. One is Nepal and the next one is Japan. So Nepal Interim Constitution Preamble 2007 and Japan Constitution Preamble 1946. So these both countries' constitutions, the preamble of constitution is given. Background of Nepal. We knew that Nepal is our neighbor country. So what happened in Nepal and when this country has got independence and how they conducted elections, what is the process of making of Nepal constitution, we are going to discuss in this topic. In 1959, so if you observe in Nepal, in 1959, first elections were held under the King Mahendra's constitution. So here in 1959, up to the time the King Mahendra was ruling here and he prepared one constitution. So under the guidance of King Mahendra, one constitution was prepared. So based on that, first elections were held in Nepal. But what happened here? Within 1 year, it was overturned. So democratic government was formed, but that government was not existed for the long time. It was overturned within 1 year and the total country came under the control of again King Mahendra. So now then what happened? So when the people were already fought for the independence and they got a democratic form of government, but within 1 year their hopes were failed. So then the people started for struggling again for the democratic form of government. So the people's continuous struggle for a democratic representative government so finally led up to 1991. So 1959 first elections were held, but it was failed. But again when it was held in 1991, finally these elections were held when the people fought for the long time for the democratic government. So in these elections, Congress Party of Nepal came to power. So who got the majority here? The Congress Party of Nepal got the majority and they formed the government. But the Communist Party was not satisfied here. Why this Communist Party was not satisfied means every time even the Congress Party of Nepal was formed the government, but the king, the monarchy people, the king and their family members were involving in the government's matter. Every time they were interfering in this matter. So due to this, Communist Party was not satisfied. So due to this here, Communist Party was not satisfied and this Communist Party people were started fighting for abolition of monarchy. And so the country totally divided into two groups. So one is pro and the next one is anti. Pro means who are supporting to the monarchy and anti is who is opposing. So this pro monarchy and anti monarchy, these people they started fighting, means it was turned into armed conflict. Means these people only fighting each other. So finally in 2007 the monarchy was abolished. So if you see here the final event in 2007 monarchy was abolished and then they started preparing the constitution. So Nepal government finally they abolished the monarchy system and they started preparing the constitution. By the 2015 also this constitution was not finished and we'll discuss in next topic that one. So here in 1959 one constitution was there, but that constitution was prepared by whom here? By the King Mahendra. But again the next constitution in 2007 they started to prepare. So next topic is reading debates. The constitution of any country provides a certain basic structure and principles according to which its state would function and future of the nation would be decided. So here, if you observe any constitution, any country's constitution, if you observe, so it provides a basic structure. So based on the structure and that principles, state should function and future of the nation would be decided. So that is what the constitution provides here. And if you observe the constitution has a double purpose. Every constitution has a double purpose. The first one is outlining the role and rights of the citizens. So in a constitution, every constitution has a double purpose, and first one is what? Outlining or defining the role and rights of the citizens. What kind of role the people have to play and what kind of rights they should have. And defining the structure and powers of the government. Structure is nothing but, see here, like organs. We have a structure. What kind of structure? The total countries is divided, our government is divided into the structure. One is what? Executive, legislature and judiciary. So this can be called as organs also, or else it can be called as a structure. And this structure, what they do, they divide the powers. What kind of powers executive should have and what kind of power should be given to the legislature and what is the power of judiciary. So this will be defined by whom? By the constitution. So here first one, once again I am repeating here, constitution will decide what kind of role and rights the citizens should have, at the same time defining the structure and powers into what, like organs like executive, legislature and judiciary. This is nothing but structure, and these things will have some powers. So according to that, state would function. Next one. So next one is what? We have a double purpose. First purpose is this one, and the second purpose is what here? Means indicating the nature of the future society which has to be built by the joint efforts of the state as well as society. So here, how the nature of the future would be decided or built by whom? With the help of the state as well as society. So that can be decided here. And the constitution essentially maps the framework. Constitution, what they will do? They will prepare one framework, and based on that, the future, highlighting how the current situation needs to be modified to move forward. What is the current situation and how it can be modified and how they can move forward. So these all things can be decided by the constitution. Once again here, the second one is what here? How the nature of the future should be built with the help of the state as well as the society. And the constitution will frame what is the current situation and how it can be modified and how to modify the country, how we should move forward. So these all things can be decided by our constitution. But if you see the Nepal, the process, just now we discussed in the previous topic, the Nepal did not prepare their own constitution. In 2007 it was started, still not completed by the 2015. Why? Because all communities are all the different type of people living in Nepal, so they are all not coming to the one common agreement. So when they are not coming to the common agreement, so their constitution cannot be prepared well. So for making of constitution, there will be, what happens here, conflicts and riots will be raised. So that is what happening in Nepal. But finally 2016 or 17, so constitution was it was forced in Nepal. That too forcefully it was accepted in their houses. So this is about reading debates. Making of constitution. So the process of making a constitution is a process of debate, discussion and ironing out the differences and working out a framework which is acceptable to all the conflicting opinions to make acceptable to make the constitution, what they will do means they will go with the debates and they will go with the discussions and they will iron out with the differences. They will come out with the differences and they will work out to frame the proper constitution. So finally, the output of the constitution will be prepared, or output of the constitution will accepted by the people. The making of Indian Constitution. The Constitution of India was prepared and adopted by the Constituent Assembly. The full form of CA is Constituent Assembly. We knew that British people had ruled our country. Nearly they had ruled 200 years. Our Indian people fought for the freedom. So finally we got the independence in 1947. So before that, to rule our country, nothing but to rule themselves, Indian people. So they needed one constitution. So constitution is nothing but the book which has a set of rules and regulation. So to rule themselves, they needed some rules and regulation. So then they wanted to prepare their own constitution. So for this purpose, Constituent Assembly was formed and in 1946. And elections were held for the provincial assemblies as well as princely states. So provincial assemblies, in a provincial assembly is nothing but which was ruled by the British people. So here, once again I am repeating, Constituent Assembly, this Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946 and they have given some guidelines to conduct the elections and for the provincial assemblies as well as princely states. So provincial assemblies are nothing but which was ruled by the British people. So in these provincial assemblies, they conducted elections, that elections also indirectly. It means not all the people voted here. So what is the meaning of universal adult franchise? The people whoever have the 18 years of age, they can vote. So that is called as a universal adult franchise. But here all the people were not voted. Only the 10% of the people were voted. So that is the reason these elections can be called as a indirect elections. And the cabinet mission was appointed here. The cabinet mission also in 1946 they were appointed, and these people have allotted seats to conduct the elections for the provincial assemblies as well as for the princely states. In the provincial assemblies, if you observe, 292 members were elected here. So here in the provincial assemblies, 292 members were elected. So it was ruled by the British people. And princely states were ruled by the kings. Princely states were ruled by the kings. Example, before in Telangana, in our Nizam country, Nizam kingdom, if you observe, Telangana, if you observe, it was ruled by the Nizam. So it was called as a princely state. It was not ruled by the British people. So that is the reason. One example is our Telangana only before elections. So in these princely states, how many members? 93 members were elected here. So what is the difference between provincials to princely here means, in a provincial they were conducted elections here. But in a princely states, they did not conduct any elections here. Directly they consulted, means they were elected through the consult. King, whoever was favorable to them, so that people were appointed as a members here. But here in a provincial, they conducted election, that too not the direct elections, only indirect elections. 10% of the people only voted. But in a princely states, what happened? Through the consult, whoever was favorable to the king, that people were appointed as a members of the Constituent Assembly. And that people, why they were appointed and why they were sent to the Constituent Assembly means, when they raised the issue to join the Indian Union, example of Telangana is there. So Telangana was ruled by Nizam. So that Nizam was appointed one of the person as a member of the Constituent Assembly. So he will be favorable to the king, and that person, when he goes to the Constituent Assembly, so finally when we get the independence, they may ask whether our Telangana kingdom will join in Indian country or not. So then that person, whoever was favorable to the prince or king, so he will say the same words whatever the king is wishing. Because most of the princely kingdoms or princely states, they wanted to remain as a independent kingdom. They did not want to join in our Indian country. so that people will say convey the same what is that message to in the Constituent Assembly. So that is what they did here. So they were not ready to be as a part of Indian Union. So that is the reason directly these people were appointed, means through the consultant, through the consult. But finally what happened here, the elections were held, but most of the votes, most of the seats, so in this also 26 seats were given to the SC, scheduled caste members. So 26 seats were given to the scheduled caste members, and 9 women member also were given seats here. Means they were given chance to contest in elections. 26 SC members and 9 were women members. And finally, if you observe the result here, INC, Indian National Congress, got the 69% of the seats here. Indian National Congress got it was the single largest party who got the 69% of the seats. Second party was the Muslim League. Second party, Muslim League people got the highest majority here. And in this also, if you observe the cabinet mission, how they appointed, how they given seats means based on the proportion of the population. Example, in a Muslim, some one area is there. In that area, the Muslim population is very high. So then they have given seats to the Muslim people. If in some area the Sikh population is high, so that Sikh was given the seat there. So that is the way they have allotted seats with the help of the cabinet mission here. But finally, 292 in a provincial assemblies and 93 in a princely states. But finally what happened in the 14th August 1947, India was separated. India was partitioned into two parts. One is Pakistan, one is India. So then whoever the members of the Pakistan, whoever wanted to join in a Pakistan, they all became as a part of the Constituent Assembly for Pakistan, the remaining left in India. And we have to remember that this Constituent Assembly was elected with the help of only 10% of the votes. Only 10% of the population only voted here, not all the people. So it was not followed the universal adult franchise here. So once again I am repeating here. The constitution was prepared and adopted by the Constituent Assembly, and finally when we got the independence from the British people to rule ourselves, to rule our Indian, to rule themselves, they needed one constitution. To prepare the constitution, the CA, Constituent Assembly, was appointed in 1946. They have prepared some guidelines to conduct the elections, and when they have given the guidelines to conduct the elections in a provincial assemblies, which was ruled by the British people, they conducted elections there. So that was indirectly were elected, that members were indirectly elected. And cabinet mission, which was appointed in 1946, these people were allotted seats here for the provincial assemblies and princely states. But in a princely states, they did not give any, they did not appoint any candidates. Only the kings only appointed through the consultation, whoever was favorable to them. Why they appointed, why they followed this method means, so the people, the candidate who was selected with the help of the prince, he gives a message in a Constituent Assembly that they will not become as a part of Indian Union. They want to remain as a independent kingdom. So that is what the princely kings expected, or princely states people were kings expected, and they appointed here. But the cabinet mission, if you observe the seats, allotment of seats, observe in this 26 SC scheduled caste people were given allotted, and 9 women members were appointed. And finally, if you observe the elections result, INC got the highest, nothing but the largest single party. It became as the largest single party, and 69% of the seats they got, and second position got by Muslim League people. But what happened here on the 14th August 1947, when we got the independence, India was partitioned into two parts. One is India, one is Pakistan. The people who are the part of the Pakistan, they went to the, they separated and they became as a Constituent Assembly for Pakistan. And this Constituent Assembly elections, if you observe in a provincial assemblies, only the 10% of the people only voted. They were not appointed by the universal adult franchise. So we knew that our first Prime Minister was Jawaharlal Nehru. So before making our Indian Constitution, so as a Prime Minister, he has given significant statement how the Constitution should be prepared. So on a 13th December 1946, he gave the message to the people so that the future of India that we have envisaged or imagined is not confined or restricted to any group or section or province or any other region. So it means whatever the constitution they are going to prepare, that should not be favorable to any group or section or province. So that should be comprises of 400 million people of India. Means the constitution which they are going to prepare, so that should be suitable to the 400 million people of India. So there is a duty cast upon us and to bear the absentees in mind. So means the people who are going to prepare the constitution, they should they should think about the absentees the people. Means those who are living in a different places, but what their expectations. So that keeping in mind, the constitution should be prepared, and that constitution should not be favorable to any to one party or one group. They always should think, they should think that India as a whole, and the constitution should be favorable to all the people, and it should work or function for the welfare of the total 400 million people. So that is the way our constitution should be prepared. And he said that to prepare the constitution, and whatever the constitution is prepared, it should have the tolerance. And he said that it should rise above our ordinary selves and party disputes and think of the great problems before us in the widest and most tolerant and most effective manner, so that whatever we may produce should be worthy of India as a whole and should be such that the world should not recognize that we have functioned as we should have functioned in this high adventure. So he gave a message. So nothing but conclusion is nothing but, so that constitution should not be favorable to any group or section or province or any party or one group. They should think about the absentees, means those who are not in front of them. So their expectations and their requirements, that all they should keep in mind and they should prepare, and that should reflect to the 400 millions of population. Nothing but 400 millions people of India. They should think that India as a whole. They should not think as a one community or one region or one caste. So they should not think that. That is what he has given statement on the 13th December 1946. If you see the drafting committee, so we knew that drafting committee is nothing but the people who prepare the constitution. So that committee is a drafting committee. So it was set up under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was appointed as a chairman of drafting committee, and their task was to prepare the final draft. So what is the task? They have to prepare the final draft of our constitution, Indian constitution, and that constitution was prepared and presented before the Constituent Assembly. And how this constitution will be accepted means, in a Constituent Assembly they will go with the discussions and finally they will approve. And this constitution in 1946 they started preparing, and it was adopted on 26th November 1949. So approximately 3 years they have taken to prepare our constitution, and it was forced on 26 January 1950. So once again I am repeating here. So drafting committee chairman was set up in 1946, and its chairman was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and their task is to prepare the final draft, nothing but to prepare the constitution of India. And when it was prepared and they presented in front of the constitution, and they all together discussed and finally approved, and it was adopted on 26th November 1949, and it was forced on 26 January 1950. And with the debates, how they had means all the people read this constitution, and they had many debates also, and finally it was adopted.